Om Shri Sairam. Dear students, I welcome you all to this new chapter of your life. You have all chosen arts stream as your area of specialization. Specifically, you will be learning economics, which is a subject sought over all over the world. In today's class, let us learn few basic terms related to economics. Therefore, before starting any chapter, you should actually go with an expectation. What are few terms that I will be learning today? What are few concepts that I will understand? So these are some of the concepts of terms that you will be understanding today. One is what is economics, what is economic activity, and what is economy. Is economics as a subject a science subject? Is it treated scientifically? Or is it like history or psychology? Is it a humanities subject? We will explore that. And there are two terms. One is positive economics and another is normative economics. Some of you might have heard these terms and some of you might have not. In this video, we will get a clarity about these terms. Before beginning study of any chapter, make sure you actually question basic concepts that you are going to study. This practice, dear students, you can have while studying any subject. Few basic questions related to today's topic are: what is economics? I have heard this term so many times. And why does one study economics at all? What is there in economics? What is the difference between economics and the term economy? In current affairs, so many times you will be listening to this particular term called Indian economy, Chinese economy, economy of Karnataka, economy of Andhra Pradesh. What is the term economics and economy? Is there a difference? How studying economics benefits us as individuals and as society? Last, you will be learning about few economists who have made tremendous contribution to the mankind. With their own theories and laws, they have changed the way societies manage their resources. So that also you will be learning in subsequent classes. Therefore, let us, with these questions, plunge right away into the chapter. Economics term, where does it come from? So the study of the term itself, the root of the term, is called etymology. Etymology is studying the root of a particular word. Economics as a word comes from Greek language. This is pronounced as ekos, not oikos. Many popular videos and pronunciation guides will tell you as oikos, but it is pronounced as ekos, as in E-E-K-O-S. Ekos means household. Nomos means management. So the word economics actually comes from these two root words. So it means household management. You might ask, sir, I have chosen economics. I have not chosen home science. Why am I learning about household management in this? Before you jump into that conclusion, just think of it. In your own house, the whole house is managed by the father and mother, the head of the families, as a small economic unit. How? Father earns income. He brings home the income that he has earned through work, and the mother actually allocates this income towards various expenses for food, for paying rent, electricity bill, savings, to pay for washing machine or any of the appliances. So they plan their resources, isn't it? So father provides financial resources. Mother manages, time and human resources at home. She manages the house perfectly. This is an example of a small economic unit. Therefore, household management is nothing but very efficiently managing the time and resources of a small economic unit. Whatever principles that are observed in a house can also be observed in managing a nation. So therefore, economics means household management, and it is very similar to managing a small economic unit, be it a house or a village but there are many more challenges when it comes to managing a big economy or big nation. At household level, however, there are few questions that every individual puts to himself. A parent has to decide the budget for the monthly expenses, decision about buying a car or saving for son's education, or a teenager wants to buy a motorbike, and father has to convince him that this 1 lakh rupees or so can be used for your higher education. I'm talking about a middle class here. Therefore, at individual level, that is household level, these are some of the examples of economic questions that an individual puts to himself. But the government or a nation level or a state level, what are few examples of such questions? Any nation has resources. How to use it efficiently? The word efficiency is used here, efficiently. It means wasting less. As much as possible, use resources with minimum wastage. Allocating labor resources. Every economy has human beings with various qualifications. How does government use their potential, their skill sets? And government decides to invest in various industries. For example, BSNL phone is actually a government company, a public sector. Similarly, railways. Similarly, Air India, which is a air travel corporation. Here, the government has the many options to decide whether it has to invest in a certain industry or certain services. So these decisions are taken by government again. And government imposes taxes on its citizens. For every candy or a chocolate that you buy from a store, you are paying tax to the government. Government has to decide, how much tax to impose on its citizens. What will be the effect of these taxes? So these are all some of the questions that a government puts to itself. These are all the questions mentioned here just to provoke your mind or a thought how economics as a study looks like. There is a term economic activities that you have seen in the learning outcome. Activity we all know. We all engage in different kinds of activity. What is an economic activity? Any activity performed for the exchange of money or money's worth. You go to a store and buy any product, maybe a toothpaste. You are paying a certain price in certain amount. So that is money. You are exchanging money for toothpaste. What is money's worth? Long ago, we didn't have currencies, notes or coins. People during those times used one product as the equivalent worth of another product. Let me give you an example. It is called barter system. You all know by now. A kg of rice is probably exchanged with 4 kgs of tomato. So money's worth is any value, any good that has money's value. So all activities which are performed in exchange of money or money's worth is nothing but economic activity. What are a few examples of commonly observed economic activity? You have seen here on your screen what looks like a machine spare parts. This is representing an industrial sector. The laptop or a mobile phone that you are using this video on is actually manufactured in a certain factory. And there is here certain grain which is produced in agriculture sector. So these are raw materials used in these sectors are turned into finished products like a mobile or a laptop and like a rice in agriculture. So a producer actually engages in these activities in return for money only, isn't it? For profit. Another example is distribution. Now a rice produced in a certain field has to be transported to a storage. From storage unit it has to be transported to a wholesale shop or a retail shop through railways, trucks or any other means of transportation. We also have here courier services, parcel services, delivery services that you see. This is also part of distribution. And then finally there is a consumer who goes to a retail store, say a big bazaar or a more supermarket, and buys products that is kept on shelf and pays for it. Are you seeing a full circle? From a moment a certain product is manufactured until it reaches the consumer, there are a number of activities involved in the whole process. Therefore, all these are the examples of economic activities. Another example is, another term we saw is called economy. And you know the literal meaning of the word economics. Then what is economy? Economy is a geographical area where these activities happen. All these activities, production, distribution and consumption, happen in a certain geographical area, isn't it? Like in Karnataka, or a certain village, a certain taluk, or a certain nation. So this geographical area is called as economy in economics. So there is Indian economy, there is Chinese economy, there is US economy, so on and so forth. The term economics, however, is a branch of knowledge or area of study. The subject that you are studying is termed as economics. However, this is geographical area. Now within economics there are many branches like microeconomics, macroeconomics. You will see in further classes what all these terms mean. So therefore the two branches of economics are, one is micro and another is macro. These are broad divisions of economics. Micro means small, isn't it? Macro means large. This is a simple meaning of micro and macro in English. So here small is referred in economics as individual, a person, one company. So an individual or a company engages in economic activity, isn't it? You and I as individuals, we buy so many things in stores. We might also sell. I am right now actually giving my services of teaching economics. This is a form of selling. There is also a macro. Macro means large, aggregate. Another word used for large in economics is aggregate. Aggregate means whole. So a nation or a government or a state also involves in economic activity. They also look at national income. They also deal with taxes. So these are all different economic activities that a nation is involved in. So micro and macro in more detailed manner you will be learning in further classes. For now, you just need to know two branches of economics. Is economic a science? What is science? To call a certain subject or a discipline as science, it has to have a systematized body of knowledge which is actually determined or ascertainable by observation and experimentation. So a knowledge in a particular subject has to be tested. It has to be observed and experimented. Only then it can be called as a certain science or a scientific subject. Can we call economics that? What are the conditions to call economics a science? Already we have seen systematized body of knowledge. What is system means? System means an organized way of approaching, a logical manner to a knowledge. So that is systematized body of knowledge. It has its own laws and theories. You take an example of physics. Physics is a science subject. It has many laws. You all have studied in your high school, isn't it? There is a Newton's law, or there is a law of gravitation, where the attraction of one particle to another particle is discussed. So that is a law based on observation. What is the observation? Every time you take a cricket ball to a second floor or a third floor and drop it, the ball invariably is attracted to the ground. So Newton observed this repeatedly. There were repeated experiments and observation, and based on that a certain theory and which eventually became a law. There is a cause and relationship between the ball being dropped and being attracted to the ground. So it is explained through certain laws and theories in physics. Similarly in economics, there are many laws which explain the relationship between two different economic factors. So it is all based on experimentation, isn't it, in science? And whenever you have a law, which means there is a cause and there is an effect. So Earth's gravitation pull is a cause of ball dropping to the ground and not going up, isn't it? So there is a cause and effect. Whenever there is a cause and effect, you can actually make predictions. Anybody can say if a ball is being held and it is being left, that anybody can say that it will drop to the ground. There is a prediction involved. And it is self-corrective. Say for example, you took the ball and you went to a moon, and on the surface of moon you dropped the ball, and ball did not fall with the same speed. Immediately science corrects itself and says, no, on certain conditions only ball drops at a certain speed, isn't it? There's a self-correction involved whenever science is wrong. And there is universal validity. Universal means universe, everybody, isn't it? Remember it that way. Universal validity is everybody accepts it. So these are some of the conditions. I've just gone a little bit detailed into it so that you understand why some subject or any subject is called a science. Mathematics is called a science, scientific subject. Physics is a scientific subject. Chemistry is a scientific subject. Is economics a scientific subject? Many people say so. So therefore, these are some of the conditions. Let us see if economics fulfill those conditions. So it has its own theories and laws, as I told you. Example is law of demand, diminishing marginal utility. These are some of the laws that you will learn in later classes. However, just know that there are few theories and laws in economics also. And there is a cause and effect relationship between two economic factors. There is also conclusions which are actually considered in economics, and constantly improvements and revisions are made. And it is observed that law of demand, for example, is universally true. Even in US economy, law of demand actually applies to a certain products and in certain conditions, of course. So these are all scientific principles, and one can observe that all this can be seen in the subject economics. Therefore, most people actually accept economics as a scientific subject. But some people say, wait, it is not a science because human being is involved. Human being has different taste, different habit. After all, when you are going to buy something in a store, who is buying? Is it machine? No, it is you and me. Somebody might buy an alcohol, I might end up buying an orange juice. It depends on tastes and preferences, isn't it? So it is said that because tastes, preferences and habits change between person to person, economics is not 100% science. It is very subjective in some cases. So don't worry about this. If you have understood, great. So most people accept economics as science because of these reasons. Economics is also called as interdisciplinary science. What do you mean by interdisciplinary? There are more than two subjects combining to form a particular subject. That is interdisciplinary. In economics, you can observe mathematics, you can observe statistics, you can observe philosophy, you can observe history, you can observe sociology, all these subjects, psychology for that matter. Just now we looked at how psychology can play a role. So philosophy also contributed a lot to the growth of economics as a subject. Therefore, it is called as an interdisciplinary science. You have heard two terms, positive economics and normative economics. Some of you might have heard these terms, but nevertheless, it is good to revise. What is positive economics? Now, this is not a separate branch of economics. Don't get confused with micro and macro, similar branches, no. Positive economics is just a way of looking at an economic problem. These are fact-based issues. So, these actually are the questions which discuss about what is. Here there is a term called what is. There is no debate in this. So this is based on observation. This is based on the fact that is observed in the economy. One example is, what is economic impact of raising taxes? Every government actually imposes taxes on its citizens. What is the impact? What is the result of it? How does a rich person react? How does it affect his economic activity when the taxes are increased? How does it benefit a middle class? Or how does a middle class person lose from paying taxes to the government? So these are all practically seen examples in the surrounding, isn't it? Another important question could be, why doctors are earning more than janitors? This is a very simple question. Everybody aspires to be a doctor, but nobody wants to be a sweeper or a cleaner, isn't it? That's what janitors mean. But still, we need to ask this question, why doctors are earning more than, what makes a doctor profession so very attractive? So this is seen everywhere. This is a fact-based. In any economy, doctors are earning way more than janitors. So this kind of a study is called positive economics. Don't think that the word positive means happy, motivational, energy, etc. Here it means entirely different meaning. And next is what is called normative economics. Have you heard the term called norm? Norm means a rule or an ethic or a moral, right or wrong. This is called norms sometimes. Sometimes rule is called as norm. So normative economics means discussing economics issues from the lens of what is right and what is wrong. See, right and wrong are belonging to value-based judgment, values, ethics or morals. So it says what ought to be, what should be. These are not facts. There is no right answer to this. Here, however, there can be right and wrong answer. Here, there is no right answer. Okay, this is a moral question. For example, there are a lot of poor people who are given benefits by the government. Poor person gets subsidies and ration in the form of rice and kerosene, sugar, etc. We all know this. So if a poor person is getting all the benefits, or at least for his basic minimum needs, should he work at all? Should he not work? No, this is a right or wrong question. This is a moral or ethical question. So this is what is normative economics. And recently Indian government banned Chinese goods and services such as TikTok, a famous app, internet app. Is there a right answer to this? Should government ban it? Should government not ban it? Other economies haven't banned it. There are many rival countries of China, but they haven't banned it. But Indian government has taken the decision to ban it. Now, is it a right decision or a wrong decision ethically or morally? Now, this decision is actually called normative judgment. It is not fact. I hope you got the difference, isn't it? So this is the difference between positive economics and normative economics. This ends actually today's lecture. The last part is assignment. I want you to answer these questions before we come to next class. That is, what is the etymological meaning of the term economics, the root word, etc. So this you have to answer. And what is studied under positive economics and normative economics, which I just explained now. What is studied under positive and normative economics, and at least 5 economic activities that you observe around, you have to mention them. So these are the 3 questions which I expect you to do it as an assignment. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.